I'm an Asheron's Call player and main. Like I played EverQuest and I enjoyed EverQuest 1 and 2, but I'm not an EverQuest main. So like going back to the game and like getting on the character, it's just like it's not about it being like memories or whatever. It's just like I don't even know what any of the shit I had was. So it like its significance is nothing to me. It's like some cool thing. I remember it was a pain in the ass to get. I know that, but like I don't know like the lore or like like any of that kind of stuff. It was more just like a casual player, I guess, of that game. And then I got more into other games like Asheron's Call, Dark Age of Camelot, Anarchy Online. Like those games I played a lot. Like I could revisit and remember how to do like almost anything. That's something that like if you weren't an original player and you were like learning the game now, you'd be like, what the fuck is going on? It's like more important than your actual gear in a lot of cases actually. Yeah, I've never been able to just like run this game too like this. Like whenever I actually was like trying like maining this game, like I had like a fucking computer from 15 years ago, so it was not very great. Like this, I can max everything and it runs like fucking melting butter on a hot steak, bro. It's like delicious. It's so smooth and everything is just like I feel like I'm having a lag-free experience like I was supposed to have 15 years ago. I don't think there's anybody I need to talk to here, but I'm just checking it out. Because I like the vibe of like the building, like architecture and shit in this game is sick. And it's all Lord of the Rings, so it's all like pretty legit stuff. I think just why I like this game is like I don't really think it's like amazing as far as like MMOs go and my favorites. I would just rank it as like average, like not in my top 3 or whatever favorites, but because it has association with Turbine, who also made Asheron's Call and had similar, whatever ties, developers, etc., like, and they even shared assets. Like I was fighting a fucking the fuck was it? It was in this map, dude. It was like down here, like this camp, I think. Around there, there's some audio of a Kerenzi stalker or Kerenzi, whatever, rabid Kerenzi, any kind of whatever, one of those from Asheron's Call. It's like I heard this sound and I was like, wait a second. I was like, I know that sound. That is literally the exact audio. I'm gonna see if I can find it. I'm gonna go to that place. Oh, these guys are like going here. Should I go up there? I don't know. I can't really do shit on my own. It's like I was getting owned and then all of a sudden all those guys showed up and then we started dumpstering them. It's like when there's like 8v2, it's we win, but when it's like one of those really strong actual players, because like, dude, this guy is a bitch character. I'd never really like played this side very much, so this guy's like rank 1 or whatever. So it's like strength in numbers for these guys, because the actual characters, they get to do like all the content and all the fucking extra upgrades and whatever, every little min-maxing thing they can do to make their character stronger, and you're like limited to this specific like alternate play realm. I don't know, I really like it, but it also has a lot of pitfalls that still apply that were evident 15 years ago. It always kind of felt to me like Asheron's Call 2 should have been like more like this game than what it actually was. And if you like see, like if you like an Asheron's Call like Turbine fan or whatever, you see this guy's name's Dark Tide Scrapper, which is the PvP server. Wait, that's a guy. That's the PvP server from Asheron's Call. So, and then there's like, I saw another thing that was like Cragstone, which is a town from Asheron's Call and also like one of the main lore characters. So it's like Cragstone is like a huge fucking character as far as like lore in Asheron's Call. And my old guild or allegiance on Morning Thaw, the like town for where everybody always was and hung out and etc. was Cragstone, so I spent a lot of time there. But I also saw like something was like Frostfell was the prefix, and then I saw like Leafcoal or something. I don't know the actual hours, but if I had to guess, I would say like I know I played Asheron's Call the most, and then Dark Age of Camelot's probably up there, but I think Anarchy Online's probably more than Dark Age, because I actually did play it a lot, but I also don't know. It maybe just seems like I played it a lot because I played it like, you know, like a lot all at once, but it wasn't a lot of total hours, whereas like I know for a fact I played Asheron's Call like on and off for like almost 2 decades, you know, so like the hours are there. I mean, like a lot of those hours were like macroing and shit, but I mean that was also just part of the game and the culture. So actual sitting down like at the desk hours is a lot of fucking hours too, like a lot. Well, I don't even know what this does, like straight up I don't, so I'm just gonna go through it. Huh, I don't even remember ever seeing this. But yeah, then down from there, like other games, like, you know, Star Wars Galaxies, I played a bit, but not a ton, you know. And then I played like all kinds of other shit too, you know, everything from Risk Your Life, like Battle of the Immortals, that kind of shit, to like, you know, EverQuest 1 and 2, and like basically I tried like every MMO, essentially, not all of them, but most of them I tried at some point. Like it's just like a few that I played a lot more than others, but then so the other ones I don't have the same effect like revisiting them. If I'm looking at it as like a long-term solution, like quote solution to like as a thing to like, all right, this is the game that I just play, and then like you just like play it, and then like you record when shit happens, and then like some funny thing or cool thing happens, and then you just like edit it and make a video, right? Like that's how things organically happen. But when you don't have like a main game, you just kind of have to like record you playing random shit and then pick out the good moments or whatever you liked or whatever, you know what I mean? The point is that like I don't see Guild Wars 2 as a long-term like this is the main game, but it's for sure worth a revisit. And there's a lot of these fucking, you know, things where it's like, is this game worth playing now, or is this game worth it in this year? Like, and that shit, it gets a lot of traffic. Yeah, so the thing is like, I'm just making this because this is like the channel, right? But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of these fucking videos and shit, but most of them, these people that make it, like their perspective is very limited. It's like, bro, I played like every first MMO and a bunch in the middle. I beta tested like fucking The Matrix Online. I beta tested World of Warcraft, like whatever, you know, like I didn't play every game, but I have a unique perspective of having played a lot, most of, especially all of the original MMOs. You know, like I never got like super into Lineage, but like I was exposed to it, you know what I mean? Same with like Ultima Online. Like I never like played it a bunch, but you know, I played it some and seen it. Like I played fucking RuneScape when it was literally a fucking like Flash game, like in a browser or Java or something like that. It wasn't even like an actual program. It's literally just in a browser. My perspective is the MMO fan slash consumer that is the one that's like left behind by the current landscape. And that's why everybody's like, why does this game suck? Or like, all these games suck. And I was like, because they're not making it for you anymore, right? Like they're making it for like the homogenized MMO lowest common denominator consumer, like people who like literally would probably give up like 30 minutes into EverQuest and shit like this. Like that's who they made World of Warcraft for. Like, dude, you think like, dude, EverQuest is easy as fuck now. Like they have all this shit in like the map and the guided shit, and you just like click on the text in the chat. Like in the OG days of EverQuest, you had to like type that shit. The stuff that the NPC says in the chat that you just click on it, you had to like type that to get to the next prompt. And if you didn't know what to type, you just didn't progress. So it's like they made it like easy mode, and even that is still like too hard for people. You didn't have that shit, dude. It was like you had to figure it out on your own, and there was like quests where like, you know, you had to like get like a note and then like take it to somebody, but it doesn't say like it didn't say exactly who. You had to like figure it out. There's like a riddle or some shit, and it like tells you to go to the bottom of some like whatever, like Holtberg dungeon or some shit, and then you get some other thing, and then that you gotta have to take that to some NPC, you know what I mean? Like there's all this stuff that's not like super spoon-fed and obvious, like, you know, kill 5 sheep, get 4 bread, chop 3 trees. Asheron's Call, like, lore and the game itself is super methodically constructed and well thought out and all that. Super calculated, but also remains to be like mysterious and kind of like esoteric at the same time. They didn't like keep reinventing the wheel, they just kept like adding more to what they had, you know. Playing this, I feel way more comfortable and like familiar and all that kind of shit. I honestly just wish that fucking there was retail, like, or whatever, just live servers of Asheron's Call. I would play it, man. Like if I could just hop on Morning Thaw right now, I would totally do it, but it doesn't exist anymore. So I have these characters, like I went through their swag, made sure they were all looking pretty good, the best they could for the outfits they had. Each one has a nice individual look, vibing with it. I don't like this cape though with this, so we're gonna change that. Also, there's like thing I've noticed with like revisiting games like this one for me is more like it's like a familiarity to it that like I could get more into it if I feel inclined to, like if it's going, you know, if I'm having fun with it, I'll be like, all right, yeah, maybe I'll progress more, but I'm not like, you know, that's not my plan, or that's not why, like, you know, it's more just like to reminisce, do some stuff. And I have been doing quests and like progressing. I am doing some stuff, but there's a different like level of like how I would explain it is like if you're brand new to an MMO or you're like making a new character, there's all this beginning stuff you're doing in the beginning levels, you know, of like to go up, say a level, if 60 is the max for some, you know, for something, then say you're getting to like 20 or 40, right? That's a certain path, and then once you get past like 40, 50 and then you hit 60, now there's like all these alternate progression things, you know, even if it's just like getting a higher like stat roll or something on an item, right? That progresses you a little bit, you get a little bit more boost from it, right? Then there's like in this game there's like these things where it's like you have like these ancient things and you like level it up and reforge it, and you can like add enchantment, you know, so it's like you're enhancing your gear to like progress your character. There's a separation between like just killing mobs and doing basic quests and stuff to get like level up from 1 to 20 or 1 to 40, and then like these alternate progression systems that take a lot of time and effort, and sometimes there's RNG involved and stuff like that where you might not even get a good roll or something like that. That's really like the difference between like I'm gonna revisit and just run around and kill some mobs and do a few quests, or like you're gonna get back into it fully and like actually work on progressing these alternate progression systems further that take a lot of time and effort, and you may not even remember, if you're not weren't like maining the game, you may not even remember like how to do it. That's why it's hard for me to revisit certain games where it's like I didn't like spend so much time and shit doing it, so I literally don't even know how to do stuff. So basically it's like having to learn how to do it for the first time anyways, right? Yeah, I'm thinking about like maybe hitting up an Asheron's Call emulator. If I do like this series, like I said, like do a bunch of MMOs, playing them in the current year, like what's the experience like? Is it something that you want, you know? Like, 'cause I think that's kind of like the other big thing for me is that it's not like whether the game is good or bad or what. It's like what the problem is that someone's giving you their opinion, you know? Like the videos are all playing this game in 2020, like is it worth it? You know, it's like what is it worth it? Like what the fuck does that even mean? Like that's so stupid. Like yeah, it's worth it if it gives you what you're looking for. So like what some other dum-dum like might want is like, well, it doesn't have any open world PvP, so this is crap. And I was like, okay, well, if somebody else doesn't want that at all and it has everything else that it offers is what they're looking for, it might be exactly what someone wants. So your video is trash. You know, you need to like objectively report what's going on in the game. Like, how many people are there? Are people actively looking for groups? Do people do raids? Like things that people actually want to know that matter to like if they're gonna pick up the game again, right? Because it doesn't matter what game it is. Like if it's like the older it gets, you just have to accept that like less people are gonna play it, and that's gonna change your experience. And if that is enough that you don't want to play it, then that's for you to decide, right? Only you can know if it's worth it to you. Nobody else can tell you that. It's makes no sense at all. It's not even logical or possible, right? But it's like, I'm just telling you the facts, like an objective report on why, if you're looking for these things, like there's other things that offer you this experience. So that's like the whole point of you know, if you mained a game, it's gonna be a way different experience to revisit. Or if you like never played something, you're playing like a 10 20-year-old game and you've never played it before, your experience of it is just inherently different than someone who played it 20 years ago, because their concept of it has like, you know, spans a great deal of time where they evaluate how it was then and how it is to experience now. And you're just sitting there going like, dude, this is an old game, and you're playing it for the first time. Whether you enjoy it or not, it's just your experience of it is different. And also beyond that, there's updates and changes to games that they're just not the same as when they released. So you may actually be playing a better version of what was released or a worse one. You don't really know. It depends. Oh, it was the lizard. That's what it was. The lizards have the same sound as the Karenzi stalkers. This guy is so much stronger compared to, like, he's weak as fuck, and like, since this is like the old level cap, but compared to that, like the Auric guy I was playing, that guy sucks, dude. That guy is trash, dude. I can't even kill like blues. Like, I mean I can, but it's not easy. It's like a hard. This guy can, dude. This guy could solo like, I don't even know. I'd have to test his limits, but I feel like he could solo like 8 whites probably, because he's a tank. So like I have the build, like everything is, you know, he's just tanky as fuck, and he has heals that are on cooldowns and shit. Oh, what is this guy? Ooh, yeah, I could kill this guy. Watch. Well, this is a good test. Pretty sure I can kill this. Like this thing heals me, like this heals me for a bunch. So I have like these heal things that allow me to kind of be able to solo since I'm tanky. Yeah, like I'm fucking owning this guy. I'll use this real quick though. See, like I'm almost full again. Haven't even had to use any potions or anything. Didn't even use any of these like skills. And I'm not even on like food or buffs or anything. I fucking own this guy, dude. Easy. Have a meal so I can get some food going. So yeah, that's like another thing that like is like kind of frustrating for me personally, like trying to play a game like EverQuest, that like now where there's way less people playing it, is that like everything is, all the content is so group oriented, which is great when there's people playing it, but it makes it really hard to solo shit. Like if you don't have good gear in a game like that, like you can't even solo like fucking, you know, like some yellows, you know, like a few yellows, you're fucking dead. Like too many white mobs, you're dead. Like even too many blue ones, if you get overwhelmed, could kill you. Yeah, that's cool up in there. Yo, watch this shit. This is gonna be sick. Low key, this is about to be super sick. Watch this shit right here. Here. Sick. Also got a I think like the real thing that like stopped me from playing Asheron's Call on emulators and why I haven't gone back to it is even though there's a whole bunch of stuff in the game, like it's an insane amount of content and stuff in the world, and I haven't seen and done everything, of course, but I feel like I've done most of the things that I wanted to do solo. The things that I really want to do that I haven't done in the game involve groups of people or bigger groups of people, you know, like the bigger group content and stuff like that. When the servers have like hardly anybody, it's not like really their fault because it's such a niche thing, but it affects the play, you know, it affects your experience because, you know, yo, it's Frodo, what the hell? Like, yeah, I feel like the last time when I revisited it when I was still streaming on Twitch, that was a really good run, and we had people, you know, and it was going really well, and then it just kind of, just as with everything, you know, just kind of falls off. Like, I mean, it's very easy to imagine, like, if you, like, all it takes is, you know, Steve plays Call of Duty or some other game with his friend one night, and somebody else goes to hang out with their friend, and somebody spends time with their family, and then they come back to the game and they don't like play a lot, and then they break the cycle of just like being in the game all the time. And that's kind of like where MMOs go to die, is when people, you kind of like need it to be a big time commitment, or else the like actual environment of the game is not the same, you know, and what you get out of it is not the same either. While people maybe don't want to commit to that, you're never going to get the same fulfillment if you don't. You just play these other homogenized, like unfulfilling like experiences. That's how you're going to feel, is you're going to feel unfulfilled, because it takes fully committing to like the game and quote community and this shit. The thing is that nobody does that anymore, so the structure is like non-existent. In the olden days, like late 90s early thousands, like some of the original MMOs had like really strong communities, people that had each other's backs and helped each other, you know, and in game and outside the game, etc. Like now it's like that kind of shit is non-existent. You just don't see it. I mean, there's some there, but it's not like common or widespread like it once was. First, you know, MMOs, it was a different beast entirely. Little ore as soon as I get on my horse. I see how it is. Wait, can I mine from my horse? Is that a thing? No shot. Dude, that's hot. Yo, Inro or Chon? Chon. Master. Chon. Master. Yeah, so I'm thinking this is more like a novelty revisit for here and there, and we're gonna dive more into Guild Wars 2 and some other games. So that will be on the horizon. And more necessity, I just gotta edit. You know, edit takes time, so we'll be there.